Glamfam, so today I'm going to be doing something different on my channel, and a lot of you guys have requested this. I hope you all like it. I'm going to try and do a story time. I get told all the time that I'm really good at telling stories, but I'm still kind of nervous to do this. It is quite a dramatic one, but not as funny as I wish it was. So we're going to get into the story time of how I thought I was going to die on a little lake in Ohio. Backstory. A lot of my family lives down in Ohio. I am from Michigan. They are about 5 hours away from me. They're almost to the bottom of Ohio. Me and Andrew drive down there every time we go visit, so we drove down. It's a long drive, and I don't know if you guys know this about me. I love fishing. I don't know, I grew up fishing, so it was just always in my life. So I really like fishing, and so does my uncle, and my uncle and me are kind of similar in age. I think he's 3 years older than me. Okay, so one day we decided to go fishing. My uncle had a boat. We decided to go on a boat on a medium-sized lake. I can't remember what it's called. Was it Logan Lake? Or Lake Logan? Or Lake Hope? I can't remember which lake it was. I am more of an offshore kind of fisher girl myself, unless I'm in a bigger boat where I feel a little bit more safe. But this boat was smaller, not really, not like a rowboat or anything, but it had, I mean, it was a little bit bigger than a rowboat, and it had a motor. And so we decided to go out. We bought our fishing license and went out onto the lake, and we were out there for probably, I don't know, probably a good hour and a half. I keep my phone in a Ziploc baggie, and just in case, just in case I'm paranoid. I'm so paranoid of falling into the lake. It was a really nice day out, and it wasn't really looking bad as in weather. It was very sunny. There was a breeze. It felt really good. It was like a really perfect day to go fishing. My phone started blowing up, and so I decided to look at it. And it was my family down there, and they were telling me that a big storm was coming and we needed to get to land and come home because the storm was supposed to be really bad. It was a severe thunderstorm with really high winds and possible tornadoes. They were also texting my boyfriend and my uncle's cell phone as well. They called my uncle a couple times and left voicemails, and so I kind of, I thought it was, we should probably go in, me being the person that thinks of the right things to do. I looked at my uncle and I was like, maybe we should start heading in. We were far away from the boat dock, and so I was like, hey, maybe we should go in. They say that the storm's coming. So my uncle told me to look it up on the radar, and I didn't really have much signal out there, and neither did anyone else. And so I just kept refreshing my page until it came up. It took a good 10 minutes, and I looked at my phone and I wanted to cry. There were warnings all over my phone. The storm was huge. It was like engulfed. It was like going around us. Like we were here and the storm was like coming around us, and we were literally gonna be in the middle of the storm when it got to us. I started freaking out, and obviously my uncle's not freaking out. He's like,
no, we can stay a little bit longer. We can stay a bit longer. I
was like,
no, we can't. We cannot stay a little bit longer. Look at my phone. Look at my phone.
And so even his wife was telling him that we needed to go in, and we slowly started going in, but he would stop at different spots to fish for 5 minutes, see if we got anything. And so all of a sudden we look behind us, and it is just black. It is literally black, and I am freaking out. I'm freaking out, but I'm trying to keep it together, but I'm freaking out at the same time. I'm like, we need to go. We need to go now. The whole time when we were going back into the boat dock, he was like, it's not even that bad. The skies look fine here. There's no darkness. The wind isn't super fast. The whole time. And then out of nowhere, literally, we turned around, I looked up in the sky, and I was like, oh, shit. So I looked at my uncle and I was like, hey, do you want to turn around? Let's turn around and just look at what's behind us. And he looks behind us, he's like, oh.
Oh. Oh.
And I'm like, yeah.
We need to go. We need to go now.
And so we started heading in, and so we started heading into the boat dock, which was still far away, and we had the motor running full blast. It was, we started going, we were going for a good, probably about 5 minutes, and then the wind picked up and it was going against us. So we were barely moving, literally barely moving in the lake, and the storm is just getting closer and closer, and the wind is just crazy. It's causing waves, and then the motor starts to get slower and slower and slower. And I'm like, oh. Let me paint you a picture about the lake. So the lake it's kind of like heavy wooded areas with cliff drops all around the lake, if that makes sense. So if you go to the side of the lake, it's literally like a cliff drop and then a little bit of sand, and shrubs and whatnot. And you can't get up. It's literally that steep. You can't get up on the sides of the lake. So as the motor starts stopping, I'm freaking out, with the motor. As the motor stops more, I'm freaking out more. And everyone on the boat is like, it's fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Guys, it's going to be fine. And I'm literally just freaking out. And I'm like,
You're not gonna be fine. You're not gonna be fine.
and so we had oars on the boat, so we started paddling and trying to get, we were going nowhere. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that everyone was saying that we were going to be fine. And we were in the middle of the lake, and I'm like,
We're not gonna be fine. We need to just say our prayers now, and it's over. It's just, we're gonna drown.
and so I'm sitting in the boat, and we're all oaring, and it's freaking with all our force, everything we have, and we're still going 2 miles an hour. And so the motor finally dies, and we're like, okay, we're not gonna be able to get back to the shore. We're not gonna get back to the boat dock. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. The storm is literally behind us. And I'm like, okay, we need to do something. We need to we wanted to go to the island that was in the middle of the island. Well, not really. It's like a peninsula. It's like a little part of the island that comes out, but it is connected to land, but it still doesn't go up above the drop or the cliff. So we were closer to the side of this lake, the right side of the lake, and the little island type thing was farther away. So I was like, let's just go over there, just, pull the boat in, just sit in the boat until the storm's over. There was trees above us, and that kind of shielded us from the rain, which it was freaking downpouring by this time. It was we had literally, the boat was this much water in the bottom of the boat, and the boat is only this, it's not even that deep. It's not even that deep. So I'm freaking out, the guys have the oars, and I'm using my hands on the side of the boat. And so we get to the side of the lake, and my uncle jumps out. I can't remember, it wasn't my uncle or Andrew who jumped out and pulled the boat towards the land, which was, let me remind you that it's just sand. It's literally just a whole bunch of packed sand and rocks. And so we pull the boat up, and there's probably about, 8 feet of trees going up, and then it's the cliff drop off of probably 8 feet, 10 feet, somewhere around there. And we can't climb out because it's literally just a drop off. There's no rock. You just can't. So we pulled off the boat, off the side, and the storm got so bad, guys, so bad. The trees were literally leaning over, almost touching, some of the trees on the shoreline were almost touching the lake itself, the water. And we decided we pulled the boat up, wedged it against a tree, and then got on land and literally just sat by, up against the trees. And I literally prayed the whole time we were there. I literally had my head in Andrew's chest, and he had his arms around me, and I'm just sitting there. I remember thinking, this is it. The wind is so strong. I feel like a tornado is gonna come through, which, by the way, a tornado did come through. Okay, but we'll get to that part. We're there for like, I don't know, like a half an hour, and I'm like, oh my God, is there anyone? This is crazy. Like, it was so, I wanted to call my mom and tell her that I love everyone. That's how scary it was. We were up against the trees and standing in the mud and just trying to wait for this storm to break so we could try and make it back over to the other side of the lake. And there was only one boat dock to this lake. And so we were sitting over on the side, and I'm like freaking out, and so is everyone else. And so my uncle's wife thought about her brother having a boat, and so she called him, and he said, yeah, he would come get us. So he came to the lake, to the boat dock, and it's dark by now. It's dark. We were literally on the side of the lake for like 2 hours, like maybe even longer than that. It all just mushed together. It just mushed together. And so it's dark by now. The brother finally gets there with his boat, puts the boat in. We can kind of see the light coming off from the other side of the lake, like way over there. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, it's still storming so bad. How are we gonna, I mean, he must have a really strong motor. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of that's gonna get us back, is a really strong motor for the boat. It was bigger than the boat that we were on, but it was still a small boat, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's still a small boat. Like, you could still put your hand over the side of the boat and touch the water. So I'm sitting there, and we literally see lightning strike across the lake on the little island part that I was telling you we were gonna go to. It was struck right on that piece of land, and it was so close. It hurt so bad to hear it, and that freaked me out more. So I'm like freaking out now. I'm like hysterical. I mean, not hysterical, but I'm not calm. I'm literally not calm. And so we are just sitting there. They're trying to get the boat in the water. It's super windy. It's hard for them. And you know what? It just took a long time. So we're sitting there. I have my head like against Andrew's chest, and I'm already scared shitless. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm next to Andrew, and all of a sudden I hear this creaking noise in the background, like behind us, and I'm like, what is that? And then all of a sudden, literally, lightning struck probably about 15 feet behind us. It was so loud. It sounded like someone had shot a gunshot. Like, shot a gun right next to my ear. I could not hear out of my ears for a good, like, 3 minutes. It was just solid ringing. And I felt it. Like, I felt the lightning, like, I felt it in my body. Does that make sense? I, like, felt it in my body. It was so close. It was so close, and it struck a tree, and then the tree, I'm telling you, it just gets worse and worse, guys. I'm serious. So the tree strikes, and it gets struck by lightning, and it falls down, and so it's probably about, I don't know, 25 feet away from us, and it falls straight down. And I was like, oh my God, what if we would have landed there instead of where we are now? Holy crap, we're gonna die. So we're still sitting there waiting for everyone, and lightning is going off everywhere, and it is so windy, guys. Literally, it's so windy. I don't even know how the boat stayed where the boat was. I feel like if it wasn't wedged against the tree that we had it wedged against, it would have flew away. Literally would have flew away. And so we were literally like holding onto the trees, like next to the trees, and the wind was still freaking so strong. And so we can see the boat light, her brother's lights, like start to get closer, a little bit closer, but it's still going really slow because of the wind. And the waves are really tall. I mean, not super tall, not like ocean or huge lake, like Lake Michigan tall, but they're still pretty big. Like, they're still pretty big. I mean, still scary. And so we're just waiting. Finally gets there, and I'm still devastated. Like, I'm still scared that we're not gonna make it back across the lake, because now we're adding more weight to the boat. We're gonna be dragging a boat behind us. Like, I'm like, this is never gonna work. This is not gonna work, and we're just gonna have to stay here forever. And so we got into the boat, And the brother's like, what are y'all doing out here? What are you doing? He hooks up the boat behind his boat so that he can pull our boat, or my uncle's boat, back in. And so we're all situated, we got everything, we're on the boat, it's downpouring still, there's so much water in the boat already. My uncle's in his boat, and the motor won't start, nothing will start on the boat, it's just, no. So, went to go start the boat, or start the motor on his boat, and it's not starting. And I'm like,
See? I literally looked at Andrew like 6 times. I'm like, why is this happening?
And so he tried starting the engine probably about 6 times, and on like the 6th pull, the pulley string breaks, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. So the string breaks, and I'm sitting there like, did that just happen? Did that seriously just happen? And Andrew's like, calm down, honey. It's fine. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not fine. The string just broke on the boat, and now how are we gonna get? Now what? We have more weight now to get across the lake than we did before. And so they're like, oh shoot, how did this happen? And blah 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 blah. And so they ended up taking the cover of the engine off and wrapping the string back around the engine, like really, really tight, and pulling it. It didn't work. And doing it again, pulling it, didn't work. And then on like the 3rd or 4th try, they pulled it, and it finally clicked over and started to rumble and then turned on. And I was like, thank God. Thank God right now. So, but that's only half the problem, right? Because we haven't even made it into the lake yet. We're still on the side of the lake. So the engine turns on, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna put full power. So he puts it on high, and literally we're going like 5 miles an hour. And we're pulling everything behind us, and I'm like, oh my gosh. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. So we're finally making it. It's downpouring still. The wind is so strong, and we finally get to the dock and get the boats back up. And I'm like starstruck right now. I'm like, how are we even, like, this is insane. I can't believe all of these things happened within like 3 or 4 hours. How did this happen? It literally was like so far from like when the storm started and we got home, it was like 4 or 5 hours later. So we get home, and my family is like, oh my gosh, you were on the lake and the storm came, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't making it like it was a life or death situation. I'm telling you, I almost died. I'm saying it. I almost died. So we get there, and I'm like freaking out, like telling everyone the story, and everyone's looking at me like, oh, Josie, you're overreacting. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And so I called Andrew in and made him like talk about it. And then my uncle and his wife went home, and so we were sitting there, and we were watching the news, and they were talking about it. The storm had like just died down. It's still like raining out, still storming, but it's just kind of a little bit lighter. It's not super windy anymore, and the news clicks on and talks about where the heart of the storm was, and it was literally on our lake, like right on the side of our lake. And then the news story goes on a little bit more, and a tornado touched down right on the side of the lake that we were on. So the tornado, remember I told you guys I was hearing crackling noises, and I was like, what is that noise? Why does it sound like that? Before the thunder went down, it was a tornado going across the freaking lake, not across, behind the lake, and it was literally it wasn't even that far away from us. The only reason we didn't feel the tornado wind, well, I mean, it was obviously super freaking windy, but was because we were below the cliff. Like, we were like at the bottom of the cliff. It was so scary. It was so scary. And I still sometimes have nightmares. I literally still have some nightmares about that sometimes. It was like 2 years ago, and I still have nightmares. But I don't know. Have you guys had any like near-death experiences or something that really scared you? Or am I the only one? I don't know. But I hope you guys liked this story time. If you did, please give it a like, and let me know in the comments below if you like the story times and if you want more. I do have a lot of stories. I do have some really funny ones too. But Please, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button down there. It's red and it's free. And I post new videos every single week. And I also have an Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. They are also at BeautyByJosieK. And I chat with y'all mostly over there on those platforms, so you can follow me over there if you'd like. By the way, I did a makeup tutorial on this look. If you'd like to check it out, it will be over in the videos as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. I love y'all. Bye.